So I'm just going to do a really quick and simple unboxing of this Mac Studio Ultra. However, my usual camera for doing my overhead shots doesn't go up high enough to fit the box in the entire frame. So what I'm going to do is just run around the box in front of this camera. I'll open it up, and then what I'll do, once I've got the actual Mac out, I will then start doing the overhead shots with my other camera. But nonetheless, as we can see from the front there, we've got a nice picture of the front of the Mac. And then at the side here, we've got an Apple logo. Then at the rear of the box, we have then got the rear of the actual Mac. And then on this side here, we've got another simple Apple logo design. Also as well, it's worth noting that this box is just in keeping with a lot of stuff that Apple do, which is just like simple and classy. Okay, so what I'm going to, oh yeah, and by the way, yes, there's a handle on the top here as well, which is pretty neat because I just picked this up from the Apple shop in town before, and I was actually carrying it with the handle, so it is kind of useful, I suppose. Anyways, let me just get this strip off the top here. Okay, and then let me work out actually which way this opens up. So do I pull it? Oh, I know, I put it on its back like that, I think. Okay, let me just open it up towards that camera. The handle's getting in the way. Maybe it's not as useful as I just thought it was. Okay, so that's the box basically open. Let me just get that out there. Also, let me just open out these bits here. Actually, the box is really nice. Oh, wow. That's really heavy. Now, I know people have been saying it's heavy, but that is very heavy. Okay, and then there's the cable there. Actually, do you know what? I think at this point, I should be able to get all that in my overhead shot. So let me just kind of tidy up and start doing my overhead shots now. Okay, so the first thing to take a quick look at then is this little package that comes inside the box. And inside this, we have some bits of paperwork. Now the first thing here is just something that says Mac Studio, and that's basically just a little welcome to your Mac Studio pamphlet. Then we also have some information here which is going to be about warranty and stuff. And then here we have our obligatory Apple sticker. So out of the packaging then, and this cable looks like it is somewhere in the region of about 1.5 meters long. Now straight away, I've got to say this feels very durable. It is fully braided through its entire length, and it is quite a heavy kind of gauge cable. So this does feel like it's gonna last a long time. Now on this end here, there's a plug. Now of course, I'm in the UK, so this is our typical 3-pin plug. However, no matter where you are in the world, when you buy one of these Mac Studios, this end of the cable will have a plug on it that suits the type of mains that you have. Now on this end here, this will be the same on all of the cables for all the Macs, no matter where you buy them. And this has got one of these 3-pin power connections on it, and so too the Mac Studio itself. And honestly, I have to say, these Ultras are really weighty. I didn't realize how heavy these were gonna be. Not that it's gonna bother me, because it's going to be on a table, so that's okay. Anyways, let me just get this little outer wrapping off it here. Hopefully I'm doing this the right way. Oh, that falls off nicely on the bottom. In fact, let me try and keep this as intact as I can, because if I come to sell this at some point, it would be nice to try and wrap it back up as best as possible. Okay, so that is all the wrapping off. So now that I've got this Mac Studio finally out of all the wrapping and stuff, what I'm going to do is some close-ups of all the fascias on the computer so we can get a good idea of exactly what it all looks like. So to start off with, this is obviously the top of the computer, and as we can see here in true Apple fashion, we get quite a predominant Apple logo here. However, anyone who buys anything from Apple, they know that they're going to get this Apple somewhere on their thing. Now, just to get the boring sides out of the way with, this is the left-hand side, which as we can see here, has got absolutely nothing on it. And this is the right-hand side of the computer, and as we can also see here, there's absolutely nothing on this either. So moving to the underside of the Mac now, and I suppose this is where it starts getting a little bit more interesting. And what we have right dead center here is Mac Studio, which is basically etched into the aluminium there. Now around that we have got a rubber ring, so that is definitely going to help it to like not slip too much on tables and stuff. I'll have to test that out obviously. Then what we've got here is a ring with a load of apparently laser cut holes into it. Now what this is for the air intake for the ventilation system and the cooling system, so cool air gets sucked in through the bottom here. And just before I forget, this hole in the corner here, this is for a Kensington security lock. Now moving to the front of the Mac, and from right to left we have got a power indicator here, and here we have got an SD card slot, which I think is fantastic that Apple have decided now to reintroduce SD card slots. And also this one is on the front, so mega convenient. However, there is something that's a bit of a downside here, and that's the fact that this is only SDXC UHS 2. So this could really have been a faster socket here, but I suppose it's just good to have at least something here, and it is on the front. Now moving to these two ports here. Now with this being the Ultra, these are 40 gigabits per second Thunderbolt 4 ports, because of course with the Ultra this has got basically the fusion of two Max chips, which means that it does have twice the bandwidth and twice the lane structure for Thunderbolt 4. However, if this were a Max version, then these ports on the front here would be 10 gigabits per second USB-C. And finally to the rear of the Mac, and as it were, this is the business end because of all these goodies here. Now the thing is, before I go any further, I would just want to make it clear that at this point there is absolutely no difference whatsoever between the Max and the Ultra. So everything I say here will be the same for the Max. Now starting from the top, this is another ventilation hole here, and we'll say hole, it's like tons and tons of small holes, but what it is, this is to expel warm air, and that's warm air which has come in initially as cool air from the bottom, then it just goes through the cooling system, then expels out of the back here as warm air. Now getting down to the ports, starting from the left here, we have got 4 Thunderbolt 4 ports. Once again, these are 40 gigabits per second, but these also obviously double up as USB-C ports, which operate at 10 gigabits per second. Then next to that, we have got a 10 gigabits per second Ethernet port, which is awesome. Now this 3-pin port here, this is the power input, so this is where we plug in that power cable that it's shown earlier. Now next to that, we have got 2 USB-A ports, and both of these operate at 5 gigabits per second. Now we come to the HDMI port here, and unfortunately, just as it is with the SD card slot on the front, Apple haven't really used the most up-to-date HDMI technology here. So unfortunately, this particular port will only go up to 4K at 60 frames per second. Now if you want to go above that, you can. However, you would have to use one of the Thunderbolt 4 ports here, which also double up as display port. So if you want to go above 4K 60, use display port via Thunderbolt here. Then what we've got next to the HDMI is our headphone socket. Now I think I'm right in saying that this is also one of those high impedance sockets which was first introduced with the last MacBook Pros, so that's going to be really good. Also, I do believe, although it doesn't say it, that will probably also be a microphone input. That's something I'll have to kind of verify and get into in another video. And then finally, on the edge here, we have got the power button. Okay, so that should just about do it then for my simple and quick unboxing for my new Apple Mac Studio Ultra. Now, I do appreciate that this video wasn't very detailed, and the main reason for that is because it was just an unboxing, so I could give people a clear close-up look at all the ports and all the rest of it, and anything beyond that kind of goes into like review territory, and I haven't even used it yet, so there really is nothing else for me to be able to say about it. And the other thing obviously as well with this video is that it has allowed me to inform people who watch my channel that I've now got one, and that I will be doing videos in the future with it, and those videos are going to range from stuff to do with my practical use of it, because this is now going to become my main work machine. And then on top of that, I will also do comparison stuff with it with the M1 Max MacBook Pro, so like a lot of like for like scenarios for video editing and like encoding and stuff like that. Oh yeah, and maybe a little bit of game same stuff as well. Anyways, I'm David Harry. Thank you very much for watching this video. Take care and goodbye now.